Alright guys, so as I said yesterday, today I want to discuss how Blue Eyes will potentially look like until we get the Primite engine. You can see it here with the Primite engine, which honestly will be the best way to play the deck. If you do not know what this deck does with the Primite engine, I have a video for that. It's in the top right corner, go check that out. It is really insane. But this is, I guess, how a list could look like in the end. In Master Duel we are playing 2 Blue Eyes. I think we will also do this when this deck releases. We are playing Triple Sage with Eyes of Blue, which is the best normal starter. Triple Maiden of White, very strong to set your True Light, but also as a starter to go into your Link 1 if you want to. Then we have Prayers with Eyes of Blue, which is, I think, Wishes with Eyes of Blue in the TCG, which is a super good search card. This card 1 to search a Tuner and another Blue Eyes card. We have the 1 True Light, which can set cards like the Prayers or can also resummon Blue Eyes from the graveyard, then also resummon a Maiden from the graveyard. We have the insanely strong Interruption Trap Majesty, which you can reset with the Tyrant Dragon, which is, I figured out, an insane card that is not a new card. Then we have Saga with the Eyes of Blue, which is okay, can summon a Blue Eyes, the Field Spell, and then we have the Primite engine, which is actually insane. We are playing 2 Nips here, because why not? If you play Fuvalos and Maxis, we want to draw into Nip if you can. I think a Bystial Magnamut is basically a must, especially in this Primite version, since you can find your Primite another barrel with it, giving you one of the best starters. This is also an insanely good starter, and the Bystial Magnamut can search it. And we're also playing a Dru's Worm here, Maxi, the Ash Blossoms, Effect Weather, because you can search the Effect Weathers. You might even want to bump this up to 3, since you can search Effect Weathers in multiple ways. For example, if you already have your Maiden of White and you can start with your Sage, you can then search an Effect Veiler, and you also, if you can get another Sage in your hand basically, then you can normal summon him again, because his normal summon search effect for a Tuner level 1 is not once per turn. So in theory you could search up to, together with the spell card here, up to 3 Effect Veiler to your hand in 1 turn. So you might also want to bump this up to 3 to call by 1 cross out the Imperm and the Fuvalos here. Then we have the Tyrant Dragon, is extremely strong in Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon, the new one, then 2 Spirit Dragon. Heavenly Spheres can definitely also go up to 2. It's extremely strong. Access code for kill. Liner is not that important, but if you face a lot of Blue Eyes, it will be. SP, it's no-brainer. The Link 1, the new, you need 2 times. Then I like a Starslayer here, because this is a grindy deck, and bouncing back your opponent's resources is strong. And then we have this very cool Cosmic Blazer Crimson Dragon interaction. If you can get 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon to the field, which is not that hard, then you can use the first one on your opponent's turn in the draw phase to go into your Blue Eyes Spirit Ultimate Dragon, being saved from field negates or field interactions at that point. And then you can use the second one to tag out into Crimson Dragon, and Crimson Dragon can then target this level 12 here to go into a Cosmic Blazer Dragon, which will basically keep or be in rotation even a few turns after you summoned him. Here's another grind piece. So this is a grindy deck, but unfortunately we are not getting the Primite engine, which gives us access to one of the grindiest cards, the Primite Drill Beam, which is an on-board targeted Omni Negate that also banishes, that can be reset every turn, and only need us to reveal either a Primite card in our hand, or normal monster on our field, or a normal monster in our hand, which we will basically always have. And then the Primite another barrel can also, each turn where there is a normal monster in your graveyard, so a Blue Eyes, can return to your hand. Then you can search more Primite cards. It's just insane. Unfortunately, you won't get this at the beginning, so the question is, what else could we play here? Obviously, you could go ahead and bump up more Blue Eyes cards if you wanted to. I guess then you would probably play more of the Trap, more of the Saga of the Blue Eyes, and then you would also play the new Kaiser Seahorse, I guess, which is this card. I don't think it's that great, but you would definitely play it if you want to go for full pure Blue Eyes, which I don't recommend. I will talk about what I recommend in a second here. Jet Dragon is also an option. I think Jet Dragon is an option that you could also go for in any case, because this is just a very strong card if it comes to the grind game, which is what you want to achieve. You want to slow down the game and then win in the long term. And there's one engine, in my opinion, that is perfect for this idea, at least, especially right now with all of the Fiendsmith stuff running around, with the Azamina stuff being there. And this is the Bystial engine that we can already see here. So what I think, and we quickly have to change this to Master Duel, where the Dru's Worm is, I think, at 2. What I think we should do here, the Saronir is once again unbanned. We should go for a Saronir, we should go for a triple Bystial Lubelion, then 1 Branded Regained, and also Branded Beast. You don't need to go Branded Beast, but I think it's nice. And then we want even more Bystials, so I think we definitely go for 2 Baldrakes or 2 Dru's Worms, and then at least another Baldrake here, so that we can bump up the Bystial engine to at least 5, or in this case 6 main deck Bystials. In that case, you would definitely go ahead and put out some of the other hand traps maybe, or play a 42 list. I think this is also possible. But we don't want to brick on hand traps. Maybe put out a Nibiru since we don't really need to. We definitely want to keep the effect values around, and also this stuff here. I think you don't need to run the Branded Beast. It's more overkill. It's more win more going first, but then definitely worse going second. But we are basically replacing this Primite grind game engine with the Bystial grind game engine. We want to start with our Bystial Rebellion that sets the Branded Regained, and then we have the ability to recycle our Bystials when our opponent summons something. Every turn, basically, Bystial is very strong against the Fiendsmith stuff, and we can also, if something gets banished, draw a card. Also, with the Bystial, we are summoning every turn. If we have the Branded Beast, we can destroy one card on the field. So what the Primite engine does for us is control and grind game, and I think this is what also the Bystial engine can deliver. Also, obviously, there is a good interaction here. These are dragons. You can use them to go into your hieratic seals, for example. I think this fits together perfectly, and especially in this Fiendsmith Azamina heavy format is one of the best ways, if not the best way, to play the Blue Eyes cards when they come out. I think this is the best way in the beginning, in my opinion. Until we get Primite, basically, I think you should play it like this. This could actually look exactly like this. There's another option. You could also put in the Fiendsmith cards in here. I think this is a bit worse because we don't have so much space in the extra deck. Fiendsmith is definitely not an engine that needs a lot of space in the main deck, but in the extra deck, so we would go for 2 Fiendsmith Engravers. We are assuming that we get the Lacrima within the next pack, so we are let's just assume it's here. And then we have 1 Tract as well as our, don't forget, the Lurry. And the thing that is nice about the Fiendsmith engine, that's always basically nice about it, is that you normally don't need a normal summon. We need our normal summon for all of these other guys here. So we could just use our Fiendsmith engine in order to, maybe bait out some interruptions or something. Then we would definitely go minus these Bystials here. But I think we will keep some Bystials just because they are that good. And at this point, you can see that now we have space for a lot non-engine. I think in this case, we will bump up the Effect Veiler, definitely get rid of the Saronir. And then we could, for example, keep 4 Bystials. In this case, I think we would go 2 Drewsworms and then 1 Baldrake. But you could also change out the Bystials for, I don't know, Talons or something else to be a bit more on the hand trap side. Depends on what you want to do. I think the Bystials are fine and can be very, very strong here. Once again, this can search other targets, for example, also Blue Eyes if you need it, which can definitely come in handy in hand. But I think this is what you would play in the main deck. And then once again, the extra deck is a bit more tricky since the Fiendsmith stuff needs a lot of cards in the extra deck, which is not great because you don't have a lot of room. I guess you would go -1 Tyrant Dragon to go for at least the Sequence. Then we might want to bump down to 1 Spirit Dragon, definitely get rid of Access Code, and for now get rid of the Liner. Liner will be better once we get the Ryziel stuff, since then you can revive Detonator. We go for 1 Requiem for sure, and then the Lacrima, not Lacrima, the Desiree. And then I think we also need a Moon, so that we can go from our Blue Eyes engine into our Fiendsmith engine. So we might get rid of this extra package here, which is a bit high ceiling. If you ask me, then we could put this in here, and then there's the question, what's the last spot? And we can definitely put in a Fiendsmith Lacrima in here, but I think if we put a Fiendsmith Lacrima in here, then we would also want a DD Vice King, just to be able to insulate our plays from Nibiru, and then we can, for example, make a DD Vice King early on, maybe bait some interruption hand traps from our opponent, and then play without the fear of Nibiru. What you would put out for this, I'm not quite sure. I guess a Spirit Dragon, but at this point you can see our Blue Eyes engine, it gets a bit thin here. So this is also an option that you could go for, I think, when this deck comes out. This will be way better. Oh, I forgot something, by the way. This will be way better if we get the Fiendsmith's Lacrima, because the Lacrima, and then you would also play Fiendsmith in Paradise here. So we might -1 Bystial. If the Lacrima comes out, this idea is way better. If it doesn't come out, you would go -Lacrima in Paradise, because with the Lacrima, you have this grind game engine of being able to shuffle her back into the deck every turn, resummon your Fiendsmith Requiem, and then also use this trap as an interruption. So this coming out makes the idea better, but I think these are the 2 ways in which you should play Blue Eyes when it comes out to be most effective. The Bystial way, I think, is the better one, but the Fiendsmith way could definitely come close if we also get the Lacrima. So let's say you just wanted to play pure Blue Eyes. What would I recommend then? I still think it makes sense to have some Bystials in here, honestly, and then I would bump up the trap, I guess, more traps here. Then I would go for maybe the Kaiser Seahorse, even though I'm not the biggest fan. You have more normal summons then. I'm not sure whether we would want to play this at 3, maybe at 2. Then I'm definitely seeing a Jet Dragon in here because this is very strong. Let's see what else Blue Eyes we have here that we could use, which makes sense. You might want to go for a third Blue Eyes in this pure version. Not quite sure. This is also a brick. Could go for the stone if you wanted to, but I'm not quite sure. I think this is a problem with going pure. Oh yeah, you can play the ultimate fusion. That's something. And maybe you would go minus this and then maybe play a triple ultimate fusion. I'm not quite sure. This is also a potential option. And then obviously we would go down on the Fiendsmith engine here because we don't need this anymore. I guess we keep a Star Slayer. Would bump this up to 2, this up to 3 maybe. Get rid of the Moon, maybe another Tyrant Dragon. And the rest of the extra deck is then free for you to choose whatever. You can also play Dragon Master Magier. Not quite sure what you would need in the main deck here to be able to summon this. I'm not super familiar. I guess if you want to summon Magier, you will need to change up the main deck, but this will make it worse, I think. So this is something. Here are some spots that you can just fill with whatever you want. You could also play this purer version of Blue Eyes, I think, but the best one in my opinion will be the Bystial one, close after the Fiendsmith one, especially if we get the Lacrima. And then you could also play this pure version here, but the best one in the end will be the Primite version that we will hopefully get soon. But for now, this is what I would recommend if you want to play Blue Eyes on a release, basically. Let me know in the comments what you think of these different versions and which version do you think is the best. Let me know in the comments. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell. And guys, we will see each other in the next one.